biggest piece of advice I have for anyone like regarding that is you always need to be thinking about like first, like what can I do to provide value to this person's audience, you know? So like that, that first person happened to ask me, but after that, I was like, okay, if I want to scale this, I need to get in front of other people's audiences. And that usually meant, like outreach. So it was really kind of like on a case by case basis of like, what's like the most value I could provide to this person's audience? Because like, if you were to email someone and be like, hey, I want to sell my software to your audience. Like, can I get on a webinar from you? It's like, even if you have an affiliate program, most people are going to say no because they're like very protective of their audience. And like, they want to just like provide value to their audience. So instead, if it's like, hey, like, I would love, to do a free webinar for your audience. I would love to show them how to find like their first product to sell on Amazon or how to find more products for them to sell on Amazon. Like I could demo my tool or not include it in that. Like that's totally up to you. Like I just want to provide value to your audience and talk to them about how, I scaled up my Amazon business by adding more products to it.
Okay. So when there's a generalized approach about just looking at, okay, individual, let's identify a network that has your target audience, your potential prospects in there. And then we want to look at doing a webinar and asking them, is there a specific approach that we just go direct cold email? Is it, do the ask straight away? Or what have you seen work best?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So typically I would say like people with a little bit smaller audiences that are like a little bit more hungry to be creating content and to have guests to help them create content. A lot of times like with those audiences, it works just to do a cold email, just saying like, hey, I would love to like, do a webinar with you demo you this product or show you how to find products to sell on Amazon. So I'd say that works with like people with smaller audiences or maybe like aren't as large of influencers. Once you get talking about like the larger influencers who have very big audiences, have like top 50 podcasts on iTunes or YouTube channels with over 100,000 subscribers or whatever else. These types of people are getting pitched that like all the time. So they're not really, if they've never heard of you and they're just getting a cold email from you, they're probably going to be like, like screw off, dude. I don't kind of know who you are. And how I think about like over the years, how I've kind of like built up my personal, like business network is it's a little bit of like a stair step approach, right? So like, the earliest people I did, webinars with, they typically had like smaller audience, work my way up to someone a little bit bigger. And by that time I could show them like, oh, here's some examples of ones I've done in the past. And the same thing kind of works for networking. You kind of like, if you want to meet like Gary Vaynerchuk, right? It's pretty hard, like just like cold email Gary V and like get him, to like be friends with you. But if you think about like, okay, like who are some of the people that he's friends with, that are maybe have like smaller audiences? It's like, okay, like some of the people in my network are kind of like friends with them. If I can be introduced to them and then like over time being at the same conferences or whatever else, then I could probably get introduced like Gary V. So it's a little bit of like this like stair step approach of like, building out your business network. And you just kind of like, it kind of naturally happens, but you kind of just like work your way up a little bit over time.